And we're live. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be when you see this video. This is episode 2 of Top. And Top, if you haven't seen episode 1, stands for Thoughts Optimizing Potential. And what we'll be discussing today on Top is something I've coined as DEF, which is desires, ego, and fears. So, number one, our desires in life. There's nothing wrong with desire. It's part of the human experience. Yet, if we do not find a way to monitor our desire in life or our desires, they can turn into greed, they can turn into gluttony, and a number of other imbalances in our life and completely wreak havoc. So, whether your desire is driven from a standpoint of physical intimacy that you're looking for and lust, or if you just have a thirst for wealth and riches and money and power, these desires can become wayward. They can become something that will take on a life of their own if you don't monitor them and find a way to put things in perspective. Because there's nothing wrong with wanting things and desiring anything in this world, but we can't allow our desire to compromise our relationships. We can't allow our desires to compromise our physical health, and we can't allow our desires to compromise our ethics, our moral compass. So, with desire, I think what's important is to compartmentalize things in a way where if you do have these wants and these desires, if all of your needs are met, don't allow yourself to get too hung up on attaining material possessions, because things come and go in life. We all know that. You know, we've had different cars, we've had different homes, we've had different clothing, furniture, any number of things, tools we work with. You know, you name it. These things come and go. So through desire, we're always wanting to acquire more and kind of stack our wealth. But at the same time, we can't allow ourselves to get too caught up in the materialism and the superficiality that's attached to our unchecked and wayward desires. So that's number one. Number two is our ego. Ego is huge. Ego keeps us alive because it's how we identify with ourselves in relation to the world. And, if there was no ego whatsoever, we probably wouldn't have that mechanism within us that keeps us in survival mode because we identify with a human body and a human being, which we're all in. You have different organisms all throughout the world, and all of them are named either a fish or a dog or a cat or a tree. But the human is a being, because to be human is to be conscious and to be able to reflect on ourselves in relation to the world around us and others. So the ego is very important. Nevertheless, if unchecked, once again, the ego can become pride, it can become arrogance, it can become so many things that are overconfident, cocky, you name it. It just can get to a point where we have an inflated sense of self and we lack humility if our egos become too grand. So we want to check our ego. We want to make sure it doesn't become bigger than what it needs to be to keep us in a balanced state and functioning in this world of ours. And the last of death is our fears. Now, our fears are just something that can be completely crippling if we don't find a way to monitor our fears. I think a healthy fear of things in life is within reason, but I've heard some very wise people say that fear is an illusion and danger is real. See, fear is something that resonates in your mind. Fear, in many ways, is self-sabotaging, because in many rights, in many instances in life, we will fear something that really has never happened, has never cross paths with our existence in life, yet we get hung up on what if? What if I leave the house today and something happens on the road? Or what if a loved one leaves the house and encounters someone that has the coronavirus? Or what if I don't operate at my full potential at work and I don't get that raise that I want, you know? And most of this is imagination kind of running away with us. So we have to be cognizant of that fear in many ways is just something that we design within our own heads that gets in the way of us living out our true and ultimate potential. You know, and our ultimate potential in this life is maximizing our time and our energy, maximizing our relationships and our network, and the togetherness that we find when we put all of our skills, our crafts, our energies together is phenomenal. But fear will definitely get in the way with that. It will just, in so many ways, create jealousy and envy, and you just have to monitor it, and you have to make sure that your fear is not something that is dictating your actions. You want confidence, you want purpose, you want comprehension, understanding. You want these things to be the driving force in your world and within your mind, not fear. So, desires, ego, fears, death, control it, or in some way, shape, or form, it will find a way to control you. Thank you for tuning in for episode 2. I try to make this one a little bit more brief due to some of the commentary that I received. And I'm just going to say health is wealth. Have a prosperous year. Thank you all. Peace.